There. A nice little paw for you to do. I wonder. Well, I don't know. I wonder. That Zaddy has his shirt on, but it is something else. I didn't know someone like that lived around here. Ooh. That guy, he's a little older, but he's also got some jiggle.
Existing clouds. So then the next thing was trees. So if you qualify. So
everything they do.
Is there any capability, say, since you're on, the boxcar's on tracks, right?
Custom decks and patios
In Washington, or it's down in South Florida, or it's up in Maine somewhere. Every single corner is connected with the high school football is a thread in the football.
Political ads have filled the airwaves in swing states all year long, and some of them come from business groups that use the car to criticize certain public policies. NPR's Jimena Bustillo reports on how fossil fuel industry sponsors misleading ads about electric vehicles.
President Biden is banning most new gas cars, putting our freedom to choose what to drive in the rearview mirror.
If you live in Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, or any state where the 2024 presidential election and control of Congress could be decided,
Tell President Biden to stop this car ban before it's too late.
you might be seeing these ads all over. They're by the American fuel and petrochemical manufacturers. But there is one catch. There is no ban on gas cars.
Be regulatory pressure for automakers to improve fuel economy and reduce emissions. The question is how much change and how fast.
That's Stephanie Brindley. She's with S&P Global Mobility, and she's talking about two regulations, one federal and one led by states. And they're meant to improve fuel economy and cut the pollution that drives climate change. Industry experts say the rules will be decades, and they affect new cars mostly, not used. California is the only state allowed to create its own fuel economy standards. The California standard is usually more ambitious than the federal ones because of how bad air pollution has historically been there. The California standard does ban the sale of new gas-powered vehicles in the state, but that would be in 2035. A dozen other states have decided to adopt the California standard too.
Because of the size of California and the size of those decisions on what to offer in the United States, it doesn't mean ICE cars go away, but it does mean we're going to see more electrification.
AFPM members include ExxonMobil and Chevron, both of which are NPR funders, as well as Phillips 66. AFPM has historically supported more Republican candidates than Democrats, including in this cycle. The group says its ads are not political.
We're not weighing in and saying, vote against Biden in the upcoming election. We put Biden in there because it's his policies. He's the only person right now that could stop this.
That's Chet Thompson, the president of AFPM. He says he doesn't oppose electric vehicles generally, but the false idea of a federal ban on gas vehicles has been promoted by Republican candidates. Former President Donald Trump likes to rail against EVs at many of his events.
Now they're going to these all-electric cars, so everything's going to be gone. Everything's going to be gone. So sad. And they require far fewer jobs to make. That means, Michigan, you're going to get so screwed. I can't believe it.
AFPM is running its ads in swing states. None of them have adopted the stiffer California standards that would phase out new gas cars over the next decade. So what could the ads achieve? Ultimately, they're a part of a larger trend to mobilize voters. The election is coming, and inflation, job security, and energy are top of mind for voters. Here's Dustin Carnahan, communications professor at Michigan State.
They're trying to energize them, to awaken them, to make them say, we can't let them do this, and to go out and vote a certain way on election day.
Some progressive groups who align themselves with the Biden campaign have been countering the messaging.
We're running a multi-million-dollar program to tell the stories of everyday Americans who've been helped by President Biden's clean energy plan.
That's Alex Witt of Climate Power, a progressive climate group.
So we've tested our messages and identified audiences that are most vulnerable to disinformation and those who care about climate action and clean energy.
Also pushing back against the ads is the leadership at the United Auto Workers Union. David Green, a UAW regional director, says the membership was concerned about the fuel economy rules at first.
Our members were concerned because we all know
that electric cars need less parts. And so automation is something I've seen take jobs away my entire career.
So
But
what?
he said that they have argued that union jobs can also come out of these regulations and the pivot to electric vehicles.
Just because we're moving towards green jobs, that doesn't mean they have to come at the cost of union jobs.
Voters in Midwestern swing states are at the forefront of change in the auto industry for decades to come. And that means industries and politicians will keep targeting them to get their ballots. Jimena Bustillo, NPR News.
Extreme heat takes a toll on us and our environment, and even in ways we don't expect, including helicopters, which can be so critical in emergencies.
Listen, I stopped vaping.
Temperatures have reached nearly 120 degrees in California, and helicopter operations can be limited. Some rescues can even end up grounded. Doug Evans is a helicopter pilot who flies for Stanford Light Flight, a rescue operation in Northern California. Mr. Evans, thanks for being with us.
It's my pleasure, Scott. Glad I could help you out.
You had to cancel a flight.
Discover your freedom inside.
My tank. Why do you ask if it's pre-recorded? Like, do you think I'm AI? Pre-recorded? No, I just like to live stream everything I do. It's kind of fun. You should try it.
When the sawdust settles and the engine roars. When you get your tools from free, something about the job feels different. Your wallet, whatever you do for less than free. Stop by your local Harbor Freight at the address on screen now.
Prismatic Series, an elevated taste experience from Fuse. Find your flavor today. Unlock Fuse Prismatic All Access. 5 lucky winners will score the ultimate Miami experience with hundreds of premium prizes. Ready to play? Enter now. Fuse.com. Guess what? We'll change the time again. That last mechanic took 3 hours. We'll never get those hours back.
Silence your oil change sign and Valvoline Instant Oil Change, where we change your oil in about 15 minutes. Visit Valvoline Instant Oil Change.
Oh, my bad. Anyway, have a great day ahead. Have fun. You too.
Cheese, pickles, cheese, pickles. Switch it. Size cheese.
Is it not working?
Oh, it just worked.
It just started?
Okay, thank you so much. Oh, that's some surface stuff. Charged $187 for Speedway. Yeah, but try. I'm just gonna go to some more. Disgusting. I'm not paranoid, but
It's summer. You might be running out of time to complete your 2024 reading goals. Next book. Books We Love. NPR's list of best reads has lots of recommendations, and here are some fiction favorites from our colleagues.
I don't like fiction.
Dada Ulabi. I cover arts and culture for National Public Radio. I picked the novel Swift River by S.E. Chambers. It's a book about a teenage girl named Diamond who's stuck in a fading New England mill town. She's the only black person who lives there after her dad mysteriously disappears. It turns out the town, Swift River, holds an entire hidden history of black migration, marginalization, and imagination. I came to Swift River because the author executive produced a documentary I love called Descendant that came out in 2022 about the last known ship to bring enslaved people to the U.S. Like that movie, this novel is poetic and propulsive. I was entranced by the places it took me and the people it introduced me to.
My name is Christina Kalla. I'm the senior producer of Code Switch, and the book I want to recommend is Birding with Benefits. It is amazing. It's about this woman who's a soon-to-be empty nester. She's a few years out of a divorce, and she's having a year of yes. She is trying new things. She's really opening herself up, and she decides who she thinks needs a fake girlfriend, but actually for a birding contest, and she ends up falling in love with birding, learning so much about herself. It is a very sweet, tender book that has just amazing characters, and you might find yourself falling in love with birding. In addition to...
Hello, good morning. May I please have a croissant with bacon, egg, and cheese? And a large, iced cap?
Any flavoring of that?
No, thank you.
Anything else?
No, thank you. Those two frat guys keep looking at me like that. I'm gonna have a problem. Keep looking at me like that, and we're gonna have a problem. Do you want me to shave? I'll be a blonde tonight. That's what you like.
Hi, it's only 1073 altogether. Yeah, Apple Pay?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Oh. Thank you.
No problem. Here's that croissant
Thank you.
and strawberry. You have a great day.
Thank you, you too. Bye. I'm also going to the gym. I just like to do things for myself first and foremost. Oh, the last time I parked in this spot, I was way too chatty with my phone with a friend. Oh, I love an iced cup. I remember when they came out. I think Tim Hortons was like new to my area. When I was like in middle school.
He can kind of fudge some truths about his background to get ahead, and it works. He finds himself in these rooms where they talk about like classist barriers and trauma and past harms and stuff like that. But then he gets kind of disillusioned. Quote, I knew that I was unofficially and perhaps begrudgingly the underprivileged minority correspondent who was tapped to write sentimentally about tragic things that happened to me or to other people with melanin whenever they happen to align with the news cycle. It's a pretty funny and relatable takedown of the writing industrial complex, but it's done with a lot of empathy for everyone involved.
two of
If
the
a
three books
90s
I read
rom-com
about.
grew up and went to therapy, this sparkling book would be the result. My name's Lauren Magaki. I'm a senior producer on the education desk, and I'm recommending How to End a Love Story by Yulin Kwong. After penning a popular YA series, Helen Zhang gets a seat in the writer's room, where it's being adapted into a TV show. Unfortunately, Grant Shepard is also one of the writers in that room. Grant was the charming homecoming king at Helen's high school, where Helen was awkward and introverted. Grant's also the reason Helen's sister is dead. Kind of. It's been years since the accident, but the writer's room reopens old wounds, and it forces Helen and Grant to be vulnerable with each other. The two begin a present-day romance that's sexy and tender, even as Helen wrestles with their past. This book is a raised glass to second chances and late bloomers.
Those recommendations again: How to End a Love Story, Victim, The Women, A Short Walk Through a Wide World, Birding with Benefits, and Swift River. The full list of books we love so far this year, you can visit npr.org/summerbooks.
What's up, what's up, what's up? Good morning. Good morning from New York. State. The state of New York.
And this is Weekend Edition from NPR News, where BJ Liederman does our theme music. Not this particular tune, though. This is Autumn in New York. I'm Scott Sullivan.
Autumn in New York, but it's the summer. But it is the summer.
Support for NPR comes from this station and from the Nature Conservancy, working across oceans and dials to cut carbon emissions, protect lands and waters, and support local communities for a future where people and nature thrive. Nature.org/solutions. And from the Walton Family Foundation, working to create access to opportunity for people and
I had the
communities
message on.
by tackling tough social and environmental problems.
Amar and Aisha,
More
why
information
the
is at
fuck do you need to be doing all that?
waltonfamilyfoundation.org.
You have
This
problems.
is NPR.
You have a lot of problems. I'll pray for you.
This week on American Roots, we're traveling with two high-flying musicians. Late Dan Hicks tells us tales of being a ragtime cowboy jazz man in 1960 San Francisco.
You're a ragtag pair, the two of you, Amar and Aisha.
His days
right back. I can give it right back so hard, you have no idea. Get back up here, get back up on the chat. Let's see how it goes, baby. Get up here in my face in person. I'll scream in your face. I have problems too. We all do. But my kind of problems, like, I'll get aggressive on you.
Public radio makes a big difference to the
And I have no problem with it.
When you give your car to our vehicle
And we'll have
donation
no
program, it helps to
remorse
support fact-based news and great entertainment programming.
when I
that you
whoop your
and
asses.
so many others
Both of you.
rely on
Man and
every
wife.
day.
I'll whoop your ass to man and fucking wife right in front of your kids' eyes. Got that, Aisha? You got a busted nose. And that's what happens when you mess with the wrong people.
Finger Lakes Public Radio, 89.5 FM and HD WEOS Geneva, and 90.3 FM and HD W212BA Geneva. Finger Lakes Public Radio is a broadcast partnership between Hobart and William Smith Colleges in Geneva and WXXI Public Broadcasting in Rochester. You can listen to us anywhere from our website. Visit WEOS.org and click on the play button.
From NPR and WBEZ Chicago, this is Wait, Don't Tell Me, the NPR News Quiz. I'm Shioki Ayan.
And I'm Peter Sagal, a candidate being behind in the polls, not a problem. You know what is? When you're listening to the usual crazy callers ranting on C-SPAN as you wait for that candidate's press conference to begin, and then you realize the press conference has begun. We'll ask who's speaking his mind, plus Sam Sanders and Zach Stafford from Vibe Check instruct us on how to do a podcast while still being hip.
Right.
All that plus Chayoke Ayanson filling in for Bill Curtis thinks he sees Bill coming back a day early.
Go home.
We want you to stick around, though, for our quiz.
What are you
It's
looking
coming
for, a
up
mud
right
puppy?
after this hour's news.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Windsor Johnston. President Biden drew cheers and applause from a crowd of supporters during a campaign rally in Michigan last night. Speaking in Detroit, Biden reaffirmed his bid for re-election amid growing calls for him to exit the race.
I'm the nominee. I'm the nominee of this party because 14 million Democrats like you voted for me in the primaries. You made me the nominee. No one else, not the press, not the pundits, not the
I'm no
insiders,
longer a
not
Democrat
donors.
because
You,
of
the
this.
voters.
Well, because of the Afghanistan incident.
No one else. And I'm not going anywhere.
Biden vowed to shine the spotlight on Donald Trump and what the Republican former president would do if he returned to the White House. Biden also lambasted a far-right policy agenda crafted by conservative think tanks. Republican Donald Trump narrowly lost Arizona in the 2020 presidential race, and it's seen as a crucial state again this November. NPR's Ben Giles reports on Republican efforts to win the state.
Trump Force 47 has few paid staffers in Arizona. Instead, it aims to mobilize an army of volunteers armed with data identifying less engaged potential voters among their neighbors. Republican National Committee Chairman Michael Whatley says the plan is to dynamite those people off their couch.
You all know somebody that if they vote, they would vote for him. They would vote for President Trump. But they haven't voted in 4 years or 6 years or 8 years.
Unlike Democratic campaigns in Arizona, Trump Force 47 is also singularly focused on Trump. A spokesperson for the RNC says they assume voters who turn out for Trump will vote Republican up and down the ballot by default. Ben Giles, NPR News.
Trump is expected to return to the campaign trail in Pennsylvania today with a rally in Pittsburgh. Starting Monday, all municipal employees in Philadelphia will have to return to in-person work 5 days a week. Kristen Mossbrucker-Garza from member station WHYY reports the order prompted legal challenges from the city's unions.
The city's workers' union was dealt a big blow after a judge refused to halt the city's return to work policy. Philly's top administrator,
so crazy. People are so crazy. Like, until everything's automated, and I mean everything.
Our workforce is considerably important to us, right? We want to ensure that we continue to build on the culture.
Union President
The culture of working from home, we can't all work from
that the
home.
union will eventually win during a future arbitration hearing.
When it does go our way, then the city will have to come and sit down and bargain with us on hybrid work schedules.
But on Monday, everyone is back to work
And
at
I
City
support
Hall.
hybrid work
For NPR
schedules,
News, I'm
but-
Kristen Mossbrucker-Garza in Philadelphia.
This is NPR. A judge in New Mexico has dismissed the involuntary manslaughter case against actor and producer Alec Baldwin. NPR's Mandalee Del Barco reports the decision means Baldwin will not go to prison for the accidental shooting of a cinematographer on his movie set, Rust.
The judge said prosecutors suppressed some new evidence as Alec Baldwin's attorneys tried to prove the actor was not responsible for the death of cinematographer Helena Hutchins. Baldwin's team argued they were not shown a of ammunition that was turned in after the film's armorer, Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, was convicted for involuntary manslaughter. The special prosecutor said she and officials did not think those bullets were from the same batch as the fatal bullet. But Judge Mary Marlowe Summer sided with Baldwin's side, saying it was wrong to not include that evidence in his case.
Your motion to dismiss with prejudice is granted.
She ruled that Alec Baldwin cannot be charged again for the shooting. Mandalee Del Barco, NPR News.
New questions are emerging from the Rust movie set case after the judge's decision to dismiss the case against Alec Baldwin. Attorney Jason Bowles is representing Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, the on-set armorer who was convicted of involuntary manslaughter.
We're going to file an immediate motion Monday for release and for a hearing to go over the same discovery failures by the state in her case.
Gutierrez-Reed, who is serving an 18-month sentence for her role in the accidental
It's
shooting,
true.
had been expected to testify in the
She went to high
case.
school with my friend, but
This
why would I
is
be saying
NPR
that?
News in
She didn't
Washington.
go to high school with me.
Support for NPR comes from NPR stations. Other contributors include the Wallace Foundation, working to develop and share practices that can improve learning and enrichment for young people and the vitality of the arts for everyone. Ideas and
What about
information
them
at
comes
wallacefoundation.org.
across as pre-recorded?
The following program was taped in front
Or
of an
how do
audience
you,
of real
like, when I
live
set
people.
this up in front of a projector, like, that is some projector that's got some
From
quality.
NPR and WBEZ Chicago, this is Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me, the NPR News Quiz. I'm the voice on Bill Curtis's voicemail, Tioki Ianson, and here is your host at the Studebaker Theater in the Fine Arts Building in Chicago, Illinois, Peter.
I'll be your blonde tonight. If that's what you like. Oh, this one is forever open. Oh. How about if I had a pair of sunglasses in there? I do. Damn. I found these at in the back shop at work. I never go back there. Like someone had found them and left them there. It's thanks for finding these guys. But clearly someone sat on them because they are huge now. Misshapen, all askew like my hat on my head. Huge, misshapen, askew like the hat on my head. Okay, my gym, it's well, I'm not gonna say which gym I go to, but it's a nice gym. I like this gym. But I really go there for the pool, to be quite honest. I like to swim. There's a building up there. Wow. I didn't realize it was up there. I've never seen this big, huge, giant building in the distance. And I think it's the hospital. I've never known where it was. It was expanded it or cut down trees or something. I don't know. Okay. I'm driving through a really pretty Finger Lakes town right now with these gorgeous homes and buildings on the main strip. We have to be very careful about pedestrians. Even though this isn't New York City, people still act very, very much like pedestrians run the road. And my cousins who visit from other states are always shocked. Anyway, when I drive on the strip, I have to be very vigilant. That lady hiding between two cars looking like she's ready to run through traffic. Oh, sometimes you don't even get to enjoy the gorgeous homes very exaggerated farm home mansions that like were only, there's only so many available because they were only built during a specific time or in specific regions. And I don't know what they're actually called, but like there's various different types of architecture, but they're like, by the time they were built, they were never farms, but they were still building farmhouses in the region. Like there were active farms, and that's the economy right around these parts. And basically, those houses weren't ever meant to be farmhouses, so they were like built in the style of. So they're more like they were obviously like mansions. So I'm still trying to nail down some of my. I mean, I don't spend much time in the South. I have not much time to practice this with others. So bear with me while I work my accent down. Now, my drawl could be better. My drawl will improve.